Marshall Knows Stuff. I'm Marshall, and I know stuff. Stick around and I'll teach you how to know some of the stuff that I know. Last episode of Marshall Knows Stuff, we made a charcoal forge. One of the main things that you need to run a charcoal forge is charcoal. Charcoal can be prohibitively expensive if you buy it by the bag at the grocery store or wherever. But in case you didn't know, charcoal can actually just be made. It's made out of wood. In order to make charcoal, you need something to make the charcoal in. Today, we're going to be making a burn barrel. Making a burn barrel is relatively easy, but first we're going to need a couple of simple to find items, such as these 55-gallon steel drums. I found these on Craigslist and you can find them all the time. There are two different kinds that I know of. There's the ones with the resealable lid and then the ones with the screw-off tops meant for liquids. I got the one with the screw-off top for liquids just because that's what I found available. Getting one of the drums with a resealable lid is advantageous only because it's going to be cutting out one step. And that step is having to cut off the lid. It's not that big of a deal, but it just takes a little bit of care to do it. You have to make sure not to go all the way through the lid because you want to retain your lid. Retaining the lid is important because you're going to need it to suffocate your burn later. The next thing we're going to need is a couple of plumbing fittings. I'm going to start out with this compression fitting. I use 2-inch on all of my stuff because it's easy to come by and it's easy to find uniform stuff. This compression fitting is actually going to fit inside this barrel. You punch out a 2-inch hole with a 2-inch hole punch or knockout set, whatever, and then you get about a 12-inch pipe to stick on the end of this compression fitting. Tighten it down as far as you can and then poke it through this hole. Once you have your 2-inch pipe sticking about 12 inches into the barrel, it's going to be feeding air into the middle of this barrel. Then you take one of these couplings, it's threaded all the way through, and then you tighten it down on the outside of this compression fitting. Now, right here you'll see that I used a 12-inch nipple. The reason you need a nipple is because you need the threads on this side. Once you're ready to start out your burn, you put a cap onto your nipple and cap it, put your cut-off lid back onto the top, and that's going to starve your burn of oxygen. The barrel will still be hot, so it's going to suck out all the moisture of your wood, all of your green wood, but it's going to keep it from turning to ash by continuing to burn. Now that we have our burn barrel all put together, let's make some charcoal. Start by throwing in leaves, pine needles, or whatever other kindling you want to get the fire started. Newspapers or whatever. It's not important. All you need to do is get the wood going. Now, I live in the city, so I can't just go out into the woods and collect free wood. What there is plenty of in the city, though, is pallets. I go into Craigslist and look for free pallets all the time and just collect them from businesses who are happy to get rid of them. Okay, now as you can see, all of our wood is burned down and it looks like it's going to be some good charcoal. This thing's burning really hot, so we need to cap it. So like I said, what we're going to do is starve it out. It's ready to be turned into charcoal. We don't want it to burn all into ash, so we're going to put our lid on and cap it. We're going to leave it like this for a little bit. The reason I leave the lid off just a little bit is so that all the moisture can still get out of it. It's going to take maybe about an hour, but I like to leave it sometimes overnight so that it has enough time to cool. Okay, so I came back the next day to check on my one burn from the barrel. There was some of the green stuff that I put in that didn't really burn all the way through, but about a third of the barrel is full of this stuff. and it's real brittle whenever it's good for charcoal. You know, just break it off. That's good stuff to use. Most of what is in here is already charcoal, and as you can see, I'm only putting my hand down in there a little bit. This is all good charcoal to use, and that was just off of one burn. So you can see how this method actually gives you quite a bit of charcoal. You don't have to worry about doing it over and over to get enough to run your forge real often. There you go. With a couple of cheap and virtually limitless supplies, we have virtually a limitless supply of charcoal to feed our charcoal forge or whatever else it is you're going to do with your charcoal. Remember to like, subscribe, tell your friends, and let's keep knowing some stuff.